Welcome back, rankers, or should I say welcome back to me, because I was in Bali last week and now I'm back in freezing cold rainy Melbourne, so a bit of a culture shock, but there you are. Had a lovely time. And that is why this week's show is coming out on a Friday, not on a Wednesday. I know it's the first time in 6 years that that's happened. I apologise, but there you are. No avoiding it. Bandwidth in Bali was fairly wobbly, as it was in Changi Airport. It was pretty dodgy there as well. But check this out. A check from Yahoo. You see that amount there? Woo! $13.76. And you know how I got that? That is from an advertising account that I had with Yahoo, the equivalent of their pay-per-click, about 2004, something like that, and I ended up stopped using it because it was rubbish and I wasn't getting any business from it, and didn't realise I had $13 still with them. I don't know what the price of gold was in 2004 compared to what it is now, but I reckon if I had invested that $13 back then, it'd be worth a little bit more than what it is now. And the reason that I've got a refund from Yahoo for that $13 is because Yahoo is now using the Bing advertising network. Bing, apparently big in Asia and in the US, quite a share over there. In Australia, really not a lot. If you are using any Bing pay-per-click, I'd love to know what results you're getting from it. Yahoo also announced during the week, Yahoo 7, this is in Australia, new mobile advertising platform, and Lexus will be the first one to use that. And it's going to be basically for mobile devices, and you'll get all this heavy, rich data delivered to your mobile device about advertising. Who knows how that's going to go? Anyway, if you know anything about it, please let us know. I'd love to hear it. Personally, if I'm on a mobile device, I really don't want someone pushing me a lot of data that I don't want. But that's just me. On the plane trip back from Bali, I sat next to this American surfer guy, and we got yakking, and I said to him, what sort of work are you in? And he said to me, have you ever heard of a thing called search engine optimization? Anyway, nearly fell off my chair. So 2-hour trip went very, very quickly as we yacked about SEO. And he was asking me a bunch of things about what he does. And he's doing some SEO in Costa Rica for a Costa Rican hotel. And he asked things about, what sort of percentage of keyword density would we be looking at these days? Some people say 3%, some people say 5%. My attitude is don't worry about the keyword density. If it does come down to that and you think keyword density is an issue, then go and put all the words on a particular page in, say, a visualizer like tagcrowd.com, like we've shown before, and just see which words have got the highest frequency, which ones haven't, and tweak it around that way. Don't worry about these percentages and everything else. You've got to get the words on the page, you've got to get the phrase on the page. But the first thing you've got to do, and he was saying to me, my theory here is that, I'm not going to do the accent anymore, so bear with me. My theory here, Jim, he said, is that if someone's looking for a Costa Rica hotel, they might be looking for a plural. And so I'm going to target the plural Costa Rica hotels. Now, in keyword analysis and keyword research, you'll find just a letter can make a massive difference to traffic. And we've given the example before of the difference between low-interest credit card and low-interest credit cards. Massive difference. So I've gone to Google Insights for search, and when you're doing your keyword research, this is what you should do as well. Have a think about the sorts of phrases that you think might be popular, and then start comparing them. So what we've got here, and I'll just take a few of these out. I've got 3 phrases in here. So Costa Rica hotels, Costa Rican hotel, and Costa Rica hotel. And they will all give very different results. But you can see this one here, Costa Rican hotel, is flatlining. Now, Chris, the American, he has said that he thinks Costa Rica hotel would be better. And he's right, according to this. In he thought the plural should be better, and it's not. Sorry, Chris, you're wrong. The singular gets twice as many searches. And you can see here, most of those searches are coming from Costa Rica. So you've got to say, well, how valuable is that? And the other thing you'll notice when you're using Google Insights for search as opposed to the Google Keywords tool or any of those, is it will give you volume of searches over time. And you'll find with a lot of searches these days that they seem to be decreasing over time, which you might think is a little bit counterintuitive, because how could more people be online than ever before, but certain key phrase searches seem to decrease over time? And that's because, my theory anyway, is that people are getting more sophisticated about search. They're understanding more about what they want in search, and therefore they'll use more long tail phrases. To give you an example of this, if we have a look at which one? This biggest one here, Costa Rica Hotel, and we just select that down in Google Insights for search. You'll see the next biggest one is Hotel San Jose. Okay, so that's very specific. So I'm going to add that in here to see where it fits in amongst the plural, the singular, Costa Rican versus Costa Rica. And you can see here, Hotel San Jose even beats Costa Rica hotels, the plural. So it's quite a good one, and you can see that it's slightly different in seasonality. Not a lot, but there's differences in how it gets searched for. Less people searching for it, but it might be a higher converting phrase because it's more specific about and more geographically targeted, if you like. And you can see here, you can start looking at some of these phrases and start comparing them as well. So the next thing to do, once you've decided on a phrase, and I'm going to take our first one, Costa Rica Hotel, and I've Googled it, and I just want to get an idea of the competition. I'm doing this in google.com, and we can see here that we've got the Costa Rica Hotels, Resorts and Association as #1 result. Now, what I like to do sometimes is where I see a very competitive phrase, and accommodation phrases are always very competitive, is to look for an easy win first off. So you can say, okay, why don't we target that particular slot on the front page because we think we can get there with a minimal amount of fuss, rather than trying to go to #1 straight away. Remember, you're not trying to beat Google here. You're not trying to beat the algorithm. You're just trying to do one better than whatever the #1 result is doing. But sometimes when you see things like TripAdvisor on the front page, you go, oh my God, this is going to be incredibly hard. But then when you start to look down the page and we see this Le Paris Resorts, and you see the page title here, it doesn't have Costa Rica Hotel in it at all. You know, Costa Rican Hotel we have above, Costa Rica Hotels, Costa Rica Hotel Directory, Costa Rica, all above have the key phrase that we're trying to target, or a portion of that key phrase, in the title. This one doesn't. And we can see it's only a page rank of 3, and so is the one directly above it. But all the rest are, you know, PR5s and PR6s. So they're going to be harder to beat theoretically, and we'll get to page rank in a second. So you look at that and you go, right, well, what's this one doing? Okay, it's only got 28 backlinks according to Yahoo Site Explorer. Now remember, Yahoo Site Explorer is not going to tell you about all the backlinks, because it just doesn't know. It just doesn't have the activity in crawling the web that, say, Google Webmaster Tools will show you, and the sorts of backlinks you can see there. But relative to the other sites that we're seeing on the front page, that's not a lot. So then what is this site doing? Where has it got its keywords? How is it getting on that page 1 result? So you can go and have a look at, say, some of the backlinks. And this is this tool everyone always asks about. It's from Aaron Wall, SEObook.com. Go and have a look there. It's for Firefox. And these are the backlinks to that site that's ranking on that front page. And so not a lot of sites, but not a lot of backlinks, but they seem like real backlinks without going into any of them. And you know, one of them's from a forum. You've got one there, a few from different blogs. So presumably real backlinks, not just, you know, fake ones that people have just gone and bought. Okay, so 28 okay backlinks. And if you have a look down here, you know, this site down here that's ranking #10 that has hotels in Costa Rica in the page title, it's got 37,000 backlinks, and but to that page itself, it's only got 14. So don't get too depressed if you see that a site has thousands and thousands of backlinks, because you really just have to do better what this site here is doing with only 28 backlinks at a PR3. go and have a look at that front page and see where that phrase that we're targeting, Costa Rica host, someone's ringing, I haven't turned off my phone, sorry about that, Costa Rica hotels, Costa Rica hotel falls on the page. We don't have it in the page title. We don't have it anywhere as a H1 on the page. And the only place we're kind of finding it is we've got Costa Rica here. It really isn't anywhere. My guess at this stage, without going checking all those backlinks, it's maybe got a backlink with the anchor text, Costa Rica Hotel. The next thing I'll do is go and find out, and this is competition research, is go and find out how many pages that site has in the index. Now we can see here it's got 67, so it's not a junk site, it's not a tiny site. Tiny site relative to TripAdvisor, yes, but there's a bit of work that's gone into it, and it's talking about, Costa Rica apartments and all these different things about Costa Rica. So that phrase is quite frequent throughout the site and those 67 pages. But it's not doing a lot of the things that we know work, like, for instance, having maybe a target page that tells you all about a Costa Rican hotel. So I think it would be a fairly, not easy, but short-term exercise to get on the front page for a phrase like that. Now, don't worry about it if people say, oh, I'm ranking 50, I've got to get up 2 more spots, and I'll get up to the 4th page and the 3rd page. You should go straight into, for a highly competitive phrase, really, if you can get on, you should be waiting or getting excited once you get onto page 3 for a highly competitive phrase. If it's not that highly competitive, then page 2 is where you really need to look in the short term. But for a phrase like this, brand new site, I would say, give yourself 3 weeks if you registered a brand new URL to get onto, say, the 2nd page, and then look to see how you can get onto that front page. And, that's it for today's show. But just before I go, great new book from ProBlogger, written by a guy called Mark Hayward. And it is an ebook, Blogging for Your Business. This is a really good read, and this is especially important for people who, say, are in small business or micro business, or just trying to do a startup or something like that. And at that point in your building your business, typically you'll try to do everything yourself because you don't have the funds to spend on consultants. But this is an excellent book about starting a blog, building a blog, why a business needs a blog, and the differences between personal blogs and business blogs and all those sorts of things. It's got a lot about SEO in it. I'm going to write a blog post myself about some of the SEO components. We do things slightly differently, but that isn't to say the advice in this isn't fantastic. It is. It's great. The book is recommending Google AdWords tool. I prefer Google Insights because it gives you that information over time of what's happening to a phrase. But this is an excellent ebook, and I'll be recommending it to some of our clients, especially a lot of the information in this book about actually writing content and committing to writing content, setting up editorial deadlines, how important regular content updates are for SEO and those sorts of things. But even some of our corporate clients need to read this ebook, not about how to install a WordPress site, but the importance of content and the difference between writing content in a human voice as opposed to, say, a marketing voice, which certainly still a lot of businesses in Australia will still get hung up with. Their websites won't have that personal sound to them. They'll simply be talking about things from a marketing perspective, traditional marketing. But that is it for today's show. Sorry we're late this week. Hi to Chris in Costa Rica if you're watching. And, Chris has never been to Australia because he's too scared of getting beat up because he said, Australia has this reputation that if you go to Australia and the US, you're going to get a glass in your face. And I said, that's ridiculous, and I punched him in the head, but no, I didn't. But Chris, seriously, mate, you're not going to get into a fight in Australia unless you hang out with certain people. And you're welcome anytime. And we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.